I giving you them blurred lines right quick. Thought I'd do a stream right quick. So I wanted to talk about some comments that was made by Andre Ward, and Andre Ward was on point, and he was spot on, and he basically said something that a lot of people don't want to hear when it pertains to Canelo, where he tried to give Canelo his props, but at the same time, he was calling out the double standards that go on with Canelo and boxers that happen to look like Andre Ward or look like me that have melanin in them. And I know Andre Ward ain't gonna get no credit because he not the mix. So he not from he not from Texas, so he ain't gonna get if Errol Spencer said it, that everybody had been making videos so the fake Black Brigade and other and other apologists would have made videos, because at the end of the day, and if it's not somebody that look like Errol Spence, if they ain't from Texas, then they don't get no praise. Now, I'm not knocking nobody from Texas, so don't come trying to text me or something like that saying I'm disrespecting Texas. I ain't got no issue with Texas, because you ain't gonna be able to check me anyway, because can't nobody check me. Nobody. Especially no dudes on the internet. So, I'm just letting that be known. But I'm just calling out the double standard. A lot of people with the fake pro-Black Brigade. Like I said, I'm gonna say what I want to say. Oh, shout out to the homie Texas T, man. Hey, man, I was bumping. Man, I gotta do a Ghetto Boys. I gotta do some more hip hop videos, man. I'm gonna start back and doing some hip hop videos. Oh yeah, quick announcement right quick. My job looked like they're gonna change my schedule. So now I'm gonna work Monday through Thursday, and I'm gonna have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, which will lead me to be able to put out more content over those 3 days. And during the NFL season, I'll definitely be able to put out more NFL content, more sports content, and I'm still gonna be me. But yeah, Andre Ward, he was spot on what he said about Canelo. It's funny, when Canelo wins, he gets all the praise in the world. But then when he get his ass handed to him, now it's a sympathy tour, and everybody is telling us to back off Canelo and, don't kick him when he's down and all this stuff. Like I said, how are we kicking somebody when he's down? This is what we get paid to do. This is, what monetized YouTubers get paid to do. This is my job. And Andre Ward talked about how they moved the goalpost back, which they always do with us. He said if Crawford had went up in weight and lost and got beat, they wouldn't want to hear that. It's always Canelo a warrior, and guys like him, they dared to be great, which I didn't think Canelo dared to be great. I thought he actually fought somebody that was in their prime. He actually fought somebody drinking a Canelo Kool-Aid. And you know what? The more I see highlights of that fight and see how one-sided that fight was, because I watch the fight, and after watching that fight a second time in its entirety, Andre Ward is right, and I'm gonna get to him. But after watching that fight a second time in its entirety, Canelo only won 2 rounds in that fight. He won only 2 rounds, and that's just the honest to God truth. He only won 2 rounds in that fight, which means he got thoroughly done. He got cooked. And then if you watch some of the highlights from that fight, Bivol's range bothered the hell out of Canelo. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know Andre Ward said that Canelo should run it back. I highly, and when I say I highly recommend that Canelo do not fight Bivol again. I promise you, if Canelo fights Bivol again at light heavyweight and there's no stipulations, and this fight is on the up and up and no stipulations, no weight draining, and if Bivol can come in at whatever weight he wants to, Canelo is getting stopped in that fight. If you look at the round where Canelo picked Bivol up, when Canelo went back against the ropes, Bivol was about to knock him out. And Canelo had to do something. Canelo was about to get knocked out in that fight. And this is what I keep trying to tell you. A lot of y'all don't want to hear this, y'all Canelo stance. Because you just can't believe he got thoroughly dominated the way he did. And you don't have to listen to it. But I promise you, Canelo will get knocked out if he fights Bivol again. He's going to get stopped. Now, I know the Canelo man fans and the Canelo, you know, and the Canelo apologists, they're in disbelief of how bad Canelo got beat up. But if he fights Bivol again, he's going to get stopped. After what I seen watching that fight, Canelo can't beat Bivol in no way, shape, or form. He need to listen to Andre Rozier. He need to stay the hell away from Bivol. Just take a loss and just move on. Don't try to fight at light heavyweight anymore. Weight drain him and try to bring him down to 168, and you happen to get lucky and win. I'm not gonna give him credit for that. I'm not gonna give credit for him weight draining somebody for a rematch. If Canelo want to fight Bivol again, he need to go back up there to light heavy, fight him again. But Canelo has already said that he doesn't want to fight really at 175. So now you have to look at if there's something going on between Canelo and his camp. That maybe him and Eddie Reynoso are having mixed signals about what's the best move for Canelo, but he has no place at light heavyweight. Arthur Beterbiev is still too dangerous for Canelo. If he hits Canelo, he's gonna hurt Canelo, and he's gonna do some serious damage to Canelo. Canelo can't knock Bivol out. There's nothing he can do in that fight via a rematch that could offset what Bivol did. Bivol used her in some of them rounds. Like, what am I supposed to do? Behind the scenes, I think, where Eddie Reynoso told Canelo to basically, as he said, quote unquote, what they like to do with black fighters, because I'm just gonna go there. They told him to run. He told Canelo to run. You know what they accuse black fighters of doing. I get this all the time. I get these dudes that come on my channel talking about, oh, guys run. They said Shakur Stevenson ran versus Oscar Valdez. It just goes to show you the idiocy and the stupidity, and I hate using that word stupid, or the ignorance that some of these fighters and fight fans have when they say somebody was running. Let's just keep it 100. That's a stigma and the label they like to put on black fighters when they outbox a fighter. The art of boxing is to hit and not get hit. Oh, it's boring, right? Oh, it's boring because the other guy won. It's boring because the dude with melanin won. It's boring because the black fighter won. And see, nobody don't want to hear this. Nobody wants to talk about this. And don't come on here talking about, hey, town, don't make this about race. I can do whatever I want to do. I can make it about whatever I want to do. It's my channel. You don't like what I have to say, then get out of here. Kick rocks. Or I'll have one of the moderators just move you from my channel. Y'all gonna get this work today. Like I said, everything I said came to fruition. It got revealed when it came to Canelo. I told you, when you fight Canelo, you are automatically down 3 to 4 rounds. And you have to catch up either in the middle rounds or try to catch up in the late rounds. When you fight Canelo, he's already, no matter what round it is or what part of the fight it is, he's automatically going to get 4 rounds, 3 to 4 rounds. And lo and behold, guess what? All 3 of the judges' scorecards in the Bivol fight had Canelo winning the first 4 rounds. How is that? How is that? They had Canelo all winning the first 4 rounds. So they need to start doing some investigations, like with the scoring of these fights. How do you have Canelo winning the first 4 rounds when he was clearly outboxed? Out of the first 4 rounds, he clearly lost the first 3 rounds. But I said this years ago. So how about giving me my credit? How about giving me my credit? I said this about Canelo. Look, I'm gonna say something else where somebody and certain people, somebodies are scared to say. A lot of people are scared to say. It wasn't never an issue of could Canelo be beat in the ring. I always thought Canelo was beatable. I just didn't think you could beat Canelo on the scorecards. But in the ring, yeah, Canelo beatable. And as you saw last Saturday, he's very beatable. Canelo can't do nothing with a dude that got a stiff jab and that could bring the fight to him and counterpunch, because Canelo can't fight going backwards. And he has to stand in front of you and load up on this shot, this power shot. And then Canelo don't like to use the jab. That's why a David Benavidez fight is going to be a nightmare for Canelo, because David Benavidez does know how to use a jab, and he can throw quick combinations, and he could go upstairs, and he could go downstairs. David Benavidez can box. That's one thing Benavidez can do. He can box. So that's why I believe that Canelo would probably lose to David Benavidez. I was saying Canelo needed to get David Benavidez now versus later. Because if he fight David Benavidez like next year, and then how did Canelo dare to be great when he was an overwhelming favorite to win that fight? So that's all I'm saying. And then getting back to what Andre Ward say, they always push the goalpost back. If Terrence Crawford was saying that he lost, or somebody like Charlo or Errol Spence or even Andre Ward, you seen what they did to Deontay Wilder. What was they telling content creators? You had people coming on here of all walks of life. Oh, Wilder his command. But yet you have Canelo sitting up here lying to his face, lying to himself. There is nobody with common sense that think Canelo won that fight. Absolutely nobody with common sense that think Canelo won that fight last week. Nobody. And then shout out to Teddy Atlas for being honest and breaking down how they can corrupt the fight. Teddy Atlas probably won't ever call a professional fight ever again. But that's the price you pay when you tell the truth. That's all I ever tried to do is tell the truth. That's all I ever tried to do is tell the truth and keep it 100. Just like I'll give you an example. That fight that's going down tomorrow, that's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great fight. with Charlo and Castellanos. But the problem is the fight ain't selling that good. That's okay. I know they gonna listen. I'm gonna get further ostracized. I'm gonna further get whiteballed and blackballed, but that's okay. That fight ain't selling that good. It's hella tickets available for that fight. Now they might have some walk-ups, but now you see why a major arena didn't really want that fight. Now you see why a 20,000 seat arena didn't want that fight. I mean, you can't get, I mean, the Home Depot Center or whatever it's called, the Dignity Sports Center, I think that's the new name. I've been to that place. I've covered fights there. At capacity, that place only can hold for a boxing match around 9,000 people. Well, from what I heard, somebody didn't want it in Texas. So you having trouble selling out a stadium that only at capacity can hold about 9,000 people. Which I don't know why they get mad when you say that the fight ain't selling that good. But they get mad. They hold a grudge when you say all that stuff. They want you to sit up there and lie. I know for a fact, all you got to do is go to the seating charts. There's hella tickets available for that fight. Now, like I said, they might have some walk-ups. Day of the fight. Like I told you, man, people just don't want to hear the truth. And I'm not finna sugarcoat stuff no more, man. I'm not finna be sitting up here kissing these fighters' asses, you know, saying what they want me to say just so I can have act to them. Not gonna do it. I'm done with that. You know, I'm gonna say what I want to say. If they have an attitude with me because of something I say, then so be it. I'm not doing what these other dudes is doing. If these dudes say something that I don't agree with, I'm just gonna speak on it. It is what it is, man. Just like I said. But then again, that they only do that. These dudes only have an issue with black media speaking their mind. You know, the non-blacks can say whatever they want to say about these fighters, but they don't have no issue with them. But then they want dudes like me to be quiet and always sit up there and say nice things about them. And if I don't, then all of a sudden they got an attitude with me. And then to some of the dudes that I don't say nothing about, when I try to talk to them, they got an attitude. Because a lot of them act funny style with black media. So, you know, it is what it is. And I'm just keeping it a buck. These things gotta be said. But yeah, with the Canelo thing, they always push the goalpost back. Had that been a brother that lost and said, hey, I thought I won the fight, and you clearly thought he lost the fight, they're gonna tell you to quit quarreling. They're gonna tell you to, oh man, you making excuses. But then these goofy Canelo fans think they could come on somebody's channel. What the hell? Think they could come on somebody's channel thinking they could try to bully somebody. Like, you goofballs can't bully me. Like, get out of here. Damn. Like, for real. Like, I'm supposed to change my tune because you Mexican or something and you on my channel. Like, I ain't supposed to say what I said about Canelo. Sorry, don't work like that. You got the wrong dude. So you wasted your time coming on here trying to pull that with me. Like I said, any fighter and they fans can get this work. That's real talk. The Aerospace Brigade, if they want to get this work, they can get this work. Anybody's fans can get this work. Pacquiao fans, I mean, for real. Anybody. One thing I can say when it comes to like breaking a fight or a fighter down, I mean, of course I'm a black man. Of course I'm gonna try to look out for my own people. And I'm not gonna be made to feel guilty about it because, like I said, it's okay for a Filipino to celebrate a Filipino fighter. It's okay for a Mexican to celebrate a Mexican fighter. It's okay for, you know, whatever. An Asian to celebrate another Asian fighter or another non-black fighter to celebrate a non black fighter. But then they try to make a black fighter or a black man feel guilty about supporting other fighters or other black fighters, saying that we can't do that. Says who? Says who? The Asian? Says who? The Mexican? Says who? The non-black? Says who? The white guy? Nah, you're not gonna tell me that, and you ain't gonna come on my channel with that. Of course I want the black fighters to succeed. You know, but it's funny, I want them to succeed, but then a lot of them act funny towards black media. But they'll go do interviews with all the non-black fighters, with all the non-black media, and then act funny towards the very media that's there to support them. That's just real talk. And then have the audacity to say that we don't support them because they black. But then, you know, they snubbing us for interviews. They taking shots at us. But then they want us to support them, and then they'll accuse us of not showing them no love. But then when we see these dudes in person, they don't want to talk to us. They act funny towards us. They throw subliminals at us. So I'm just saying. Now keep in mind, I'm finna like blow some of these dudes out the water. Now, look how much flack that I done had people in shade or whatever you want to call it, and hate thrown towards me because of my support for Terrence Crawford. Which, by the way, I support Errol Spence too. I just don't like how his team sometimes been moving, and I don't like how some of the information that's been getting thrown out there been not accurate. But they'll accuse Terrence Crawford of being this and being that. But it's kind of funny. A lot of the people that support Charlo and won't call Charlo out on how he's acted towards black media and some media members, it's the same people that he dissed. But they want to protect him, though. But they want to protect him, who then dissed black media on several occasions, then threatened black media, then threatened other black fighters. I told you, I'm going to say this, and I don't care if it get back to him. He didn't threaten black fighters with gunplay and all this stuff. I didn't hear about him threatening David Benavidez with no gunplay. But see, nobody won't call that out. Real talk. Let Terrence Crawford that did that. You would have seen video after video made. And that's why I had to be different from everybody else. And like I said, I want to say this once again. I don't follow no script. If you mad that I ain't following in line, that's too bad. I'm not going to do it. Because like I said, I ain't got no balls, and I don't check in with nobody. But, you know, behind the scenes, I'm keeping it 100. A lot of people don't like me because I won't fall in line, and I won't do, you know what I'm saying? I won't be, you know, I won't praise another fighter like they think I should. When a lot of these dudes that tried to play two black fighters up against each other, trying to make it look like if you support Buds, you some kind of sellout. That's and it ain't been white people that's doing it. Like I said, it's been a lot of fake pro-black people doing it. You know, the same pro-black media that refuse to date black women. You know, but it's cool. Just saying. I'm just saying. All this stuff gotta be said. Now, ain't nobody making no videos about what Andre Ward doing, calling out the double standards. You know how they changed the narrative. It's funny how they want everybody else. It's funny when other people, and Andre Ward been speaking on this, but he never get no praise. All because of one comment that he made about Deontay Wilder, which that was his opinion. Which to me now, in retrospective, it was just blown out of proportion. But at the end of the day, you had a lot of clowns pushing a fake agenda. I mean, for real. Man, flat out said, and then Dre said that we should call this out. And I've been calling this stuff out. I've been calling out the double standards that go on in boxing. I've been calling this out. It's funny. I'm looking at Dimitri Bivol's performance versus Canelo. He fought a smart fight. He boxed. He boxed. Beautiful. I mean, that was. And then the thing was, he just was textbook. He kept Canelo at range, and he countered Canelo. I'm gonna tell you that counter. Let me tell you what scared Canelo, and why Canelo panicked and picked him up. When Canelo got hit with that counter, when he was trying to fight Bivol on the inside, Canelo was done after that. He knew he was losing the fight. That's why he picked him up. And then when he got hit and then he flew back against the ropes, Canelo thought he was finna get knocked out. Canelo thought he was finna get knocked out. So that's why he picked up Bivol. Because he thought he was finna get knocked out. Now, that's funny. You didn't hear people. Now, I promise you, this is real talk. Because once again, like I say, the truth gonna come out. This is real talk. You didn't hear me talking about it. It's out to Aki, man. I respect Aki, man. I respect Aki. He used to call himself Arab King. Shout out to Aki, because he did talk about that too. The coincidental list. Had that had been a brother that outboxed Canelo like that, I promise you know what they would have said? Oh, he was running. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Had that been Lomachenko, and Lomachenko does that on a regular basis. Lomachenko ain't really a knockout artist. He just really try to outbox you. But let that have been somebody named Melvin Johnson that beat Canelo the way Bivol did. I promise y'all they would be making videos. Oh, they ran. They ran. And this is something that they love. This is a stigma that they love to put on black fighters. And then when we call it out, these clowns will come on here talking about, hey, why are you making this about race? Because you making it about race. Let me break something down for y'all. AKA what they be trying to say. When they say the dude ran, they really saying that this black boxer was just too skilled for the one-dimensional or the less skilled fighter. That's why they get so mad and say somebody was running. I'm trying to figure out, like I said before, if Bivol's name had been Melvin Johnson, they would have said he was running. But due to the fact that Bivol, who really, Dimitri Bivol is really Asian, right? One of his parents, I think, is Asian. But because it's Bivol, instead of them giving him his credit for outboxing, they trying to say that he weight bullied Canelo, or he was bigger than Canelo. Well, he's supposed to be bigger than Canelo because Canelo went up in weight. So wait a minute, when Canelo goes up in weight and beats Sergey Kovalev, oh, this is greatness. This is greatness. But then when he gets his ass handed to him by Bivol, and I know the Canelo stands are flagging this video, but then when he gets his ass handed to him by Bivol, then all of a sudden, oh man, well, Bivol was too big and all this kind of stuff, and it's every excuse in the book. So, wait a minute. So, when he beat Sergey Kovalev, which that fight has a huge question mark around it, oh, his greatness. But when he beat Bivol, when Bivol beats his ass, now all of a sudden, well, you know, it's either this, it's either that, or we thought Canelo really won. And like I said before, if you think Canelo won that, and I'm gonna make this very clear, if you think Canelo won that fight, you are a habitual liar. You either are on drugs or you're just probably just a racist. It's just common sense. It's just common sense. And at the end of the day, y'all gonna just have to take it. He lost. He lost bad. Listen, man. Listen. I'ma just keep it 100, bro. I ain't even worried about what no other content creator said. At the end of the day, like I said, if you think Canelo won that fight, you a liar. And you clickbaiting. And you being a view whore. Okay? That's all. I'm not gonna talk about any other content creator. I don't do that. But if you think Canelo won, you a liar. Okay? You a liar. And you trying to build your fan base and you trying to get views by compromising your channel. And I don't respect you. No, I'm not going to sit up there and lie and say that Canelo won that fight because I want to get people to subscribe to my channel. Canelo lost. He lost. He lost bad. 10 rounds to 2. Canelo just gonna have to figure out what he want to do. But I highly recommend Canelo don't fight at 175, and I highly recommend he don't fight Bivol again, cause and I'm just saying this. Let me get put on one of them major media outlets. I'll tell Marcos right to his face. That'll be the perfect guy to tell that to. Cause Marcos is Mexican, and I'll tell Marcos right to his face. And Marco know who I am. I'll tell Marcos right to his face. Yeah, Marcos, if you listening, I'll come on your outlet and I'll tell your whole fan base Canelo lost. And if he fight Bivol again, he gonna get knocked out. He's gonna get knocked out. And he ain't the number 1 pound for pound fighter, and that's another thing. Terrence Crawford is clearly the number 1 pound for pound fighter. And depending on what happens tomorrow, Jamel Charlo could move up to number 2, number 1, number 3. Because if Jamel Charlo win that fight tomorrow, he automatically is in the top 3. Despite how Jamel Charlo treats people and how I may feel about him. And I know he don't care, and I don't care neither. But I'm not going to discredit the dude. As of tomorrow, and this is just real talk, take this however you want. I don't care who's listening. If Jamel Charlo comes out on top and he wins tomorrow and becomes undisputed at 154, the top 3 fighters in the world will be Errol Spence, Jamel Charlo, and Terrence Crawford. The top 3 fighters in the world will be black. And that'll be great for the sport. Doesn't matter how we feel about Crawford. Doesn't matter how we feel about Spence. Doesn't matter how we feel about Charlo. If Charlo wins tomorrow and he becomes undisputed, we gonna have that conversation. Because I already had Charlo like around number 5, number 6. But if he wins tomorrow and becomes undisputed, you can make an argument that Jamel could be number 1, number 2, or number 3. If he wins tomorrow, the best 3 fighters on the planet will be black. Now, I know it's going to be some people that ain't going to like this, but here's the thing. I'm a black man. Why can't I big up my fighters? Why can't we big up our fighters as black people? Why everybody always be trying to make us feel guilty? Like I said, you're not finna make me say that somebody is number one pound for pound because you say so. PBM, baby. PBM, baby. Proud black man. Real talk. And I have the numbers to back it up. I have the numbers, I have the wins, I have the belts to back it up. So, depending on what happens tomorrow, I don't care about nobody else's pound for pound list. They gonna be the new big three. They gonna be the big three in boxing. If Charlo pulls this off tomorrow, and it's a big if, because Castanos is coming for him. But if he pulls this off, if Charlo pulls this off, yeah, we gonna have that discussion. Because like I said, ain't nobody gonna make me feel guilty about supporting black fighters. How many interviews have you heard me conduct with Mexican fighters? Which I don't have no problem with this. I don't get mad. How many fighters that you see me interview of Mexican descent say, well, you know, he got that Mexican blood in him. He probably gonna pull it off. Us Mexicans, we bring it. Hey, I don't have no problem with that. You don't see me say, oh, you can't say that. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. You supposed to say that. You supposed to support your own. No, the problem is people only got a problem with us supporting our own. Doesn't mean that we hate anybody else. See, that's the thing they've been trying to put on us. That's where the guilt come from. That's where the guilt come from. So no, you're not gonna make me feel guilty about supporting the fighter because he black. You, for real. I'll say this much: if you try, that don't work on my channel. And for those who've been here, you know that don't work with me. So as of tomorrow, if Jermell Charlo pulls this off, yeah, the big three is gonna be Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, and Charlo. Now I know it's gonna be people that's gonna see this video and they gonna make video. Oh, Town Business is playing the rate. Hey, everybody else do it. Everybody else do it. So like I said before, you're not gonna make me feel guilty about supporting my own. Nobody has a problem with Filipinos supporting Filipinos. Nobody has a problem with Asians supporting Asians. Nobody has a problem with Japanese fighters supporting Japanese fighters. But as soon as a black dude say he supported a black fighter, then here everybody come. You don't get to define what's racist. You don't get to define, no, you don't get to tell me who I should support. Now, here's the thing about me. I don't see color when it comes to talent. If I think the fighter, if it's a black and a Mexican fighter fighting, I'm not gonna say that the dude gonna win because he's black. If I think the Mexican dude is gonna win because of his skill set, I will say who's gonna win. Now I don't see color when it comes to breaking down a fight. But as far as me supporting black fighters, of course I do it. And nobody's gonna make me feel guilty about it. If you have a problem with that, you can get the hell off my channel and don't ever come. And you can go make all your counter videos. This is a response to Town Business talking about I can't support a fighter because he black like me. Why not? Why not? And that's the problem with black people. We need to stop letting people tell us that we can't do that. When somebody try to pull, I already did check people about that. Don't tell me that. Like I said, I'm gonna make this very clear. If you support Canelo because he's Mexican, fine. I'm okay with that. If you support Manny Pacquiao because he's Filipino, fine. Real talk. But don't sit up here and try to make me feel guilty about supporting the fighter because he's black. Real talk. What part you don't understand? We not y'all community property. For real. Just let it be known. Y'all got it like for real. Y'all gonna get this work today. This is like for the people that's listening to this video, this is why some people don't like me. Or this is why some people don't feel comfortable talking to me, because I'm too honest. I'm too honest. And I'm going to continue to be that way because that's how I was built. That's how I'm built. So that's just the bottom line. But hey, appreciate everybody listening. On my way to work doing some overtime. Shout out to Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying, for keeping it 100. And I want to say something about Andre Ward. It ain't my place to tell his personal business, and I'm not going to do that. But Andre Ward really is a dude of principle. And that's all I'm going to say. Because Andre Ward, he got principle. He did something that he didn't have to do. And I'm just going to say this much. He stood on his principle like I did. And I'm going to just leave it at that. Okay? But anyway, appreciate it. This your boy Tell Biz. I'm out.